Hello, dear friend. I'm so happy to see you on our channel, where today we're kicking off an enchanting story about falling in love with a charming waitress. If you enjoy romantic tales and the cozy cafe atmosphere, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps me create even more great content for you. Now close your eyes, imagine the aroma of freshly brewed coffee, and let's dive into our story. The evening in Manhattan gleamed like a river of lights winding between the glass canyons of skyscrapers. Yellow streaks of taxi headlights painted the rain-slicked pavement, neon signs flickered, and the sky roared with thunder, shattering into millions of cold drops. Alex, a young front-end developer from Austin, Texas, had arrived in New York for a several-month assignment and immediately walked into a classic metropolitan downpour. Water streamed down his coat collar and soaked his sneakers, so seeking shelter, he dashed under the awning of the cozy Bluebird Café. The door slammed behind him, and fogged glass instantly muffled the city's roar. Inside, the air smelled of freshly brewed Arabica, caramelized sugar, and warm butter. Shaking water from his sleeves, Alex watched as a waitress in a denim apron approached his table with effortless confidence. Her freckles danced across her cheeks by the heat of the espresso machine, and her blue eyes mirrored the twinkle of cafe lights. A name badge read, Emily. "Good evening. Can I warm you up with a latte?" she asked, her voice like a bell. "Yes, a double latte, please," he replied, his heart pounding so loud he was sure she could hear it. While Emily disappeared behind the bar, Alex studied the soft waves of her hair as it swung with each step. The clatter of coffee grinders and the hiss of steaming milk couldn't drown out her bright laughter. She returned with a cup crowned by a heart-shaped foam design and a crisp receipt, now marred by an inkblot where raindrops had leaked through his coat. "Sorry, I ruined it," Alex stammered. "No worries," she said, holding the paper. "See? Now it looks like a planet. Call it your little world." Alex laughed, realizing New York wasn't so alien after all. He left a generous tip and, summoning courage, whispered, "See you tomorrow." Emily winked. "Same time." Her fingers brushed his palm, barely, but in that instant, the city slowed. Stepping back into the rain, Alex saw the pavement shine like a mirror, reflecting a new version of himself, the guy who now knew exactly where he was headed. Under the bus stop awning, he tapped into his phone's notes, 6:30 p.m., Bluebird Café, find out her favorite dessert. The traffic roared around him, but in his ears, a new rhythm played, the beat that begins with one look and never ends. A morning sunbeam climbed the brick wall of Alex's hotel room as he snapped awake from restless thoughts. Today he needed more than a smile, he needed words. Firing up his laptop, he scoured an online dictionary for terms as warm as lemon tart in her hands. In his notebook, he scribbled a plan: learn 5 new terms daily, each a bridge to conversation. His list began: whisk, caramelize, sprinkle, zest, cherish. He practiced aloud until the corridor's creaks reminded him breakfast was waiting. At 6:20 p.m., Alex stood outside Bluebird Café clutching a bouquet of paper roses crafted from magazine pages. The bell chimed, and Emily emerged, as though she'd been waiting for that exact moment. Her smile made all that paper feel pointless next to her real freckles. "I'd love to savor your lemon tart," he said carefully. "Oh, you already know our priciest dessert," she teased, serving him a slice. "But today it's on the house, just for the savor." He savored every crumb, and she confided her dream, opening a little bakery named Heartprint Bakery, because every imprint of dough carries a heartbeat. "If you need a website, I can help," Alex offered. "Really? Then 5 words a day and 1 recipe exchange," she winked. Together, they visited a bookstore on 9th Avenue. The rain had given way to a breeze flipping newspaper pages along the sidewalks. Emily paused by the window, cup in hand. She looked almost unreal. Alex realized this was the moment when a small moment becomes something much bigger. Back at the hotel that night, he sketched a homepage mock-up, a hero image of tart, a button labeled, Taste Memories, a blog of recipes. He added an extra word, hope, no checklist needed. It pulsed in his mind. By the third week, deadlines piled up like fallen leaves. One frantic evening at the office, a client's server went down again, and Alex dashed to Bluebird to clear his head. He stood in line holding 2 cappuccinos, one for himself and one for Emily, when someone bumped him. The latte soared through the air, landing right on her crisp white blouse in a splash of foam that shaped feathers of a bird. "I think we have our new logo," she laughed. Mortified, Alex returned the next day in a custom t-shirt printed with a brown bird and the slogan, "Run for the bread." Emily beamed like she'd won a prize and handed him an invitation. After closing, "Let's go to Smalls." He added invite to his list. That night, amid the smoky jazz at Smalls, Alex sketched a draft of their about page on a cocktail napkin, a photo of the latte bird stain framed by purpose, passion, and courage. Emily added callouts, inspiration, heart, flavor. Walking under the Brooklyn Bridge's stone arch in the drizzle, Alex offered her hot chocolate. Their hands met around the cup, warmth merging with raindrops. Their first kiss was soft, a secret whispered between saxophone lines. He slept past dawn, dreaming of trust, the next word he would learn. Saturday morning was meant for a Central Park stroll with coffee and store-bought cookies. Instead, at 7:13 a.m., his boss texted, "Need prototype review by Monday 10 a.m. Alex spent 2 sleepless days in a co-working hub, surrounded by server logs and blinking neon text, "Sleep is for later." At 4:45 a.m., he hit send on an HR request for flexible hours. Personal priorities require realignment. He attached a photo of his "Run for the Bread" t-shirt. Sunday he showed up at Bluebird with a basket of fresh strawberries. Emily, flour-dusted, placed 2 lattes topped with chocolate shavings before him. Without a word, he revealed the HR email, "Flexible schedule granted." She pressed a berry to his lips. "You chose what matters most," she said softly. Later, they spread Grandma's handwritten recipes across a backroom table. Flour fell like confetti as they translated each line, Memories muffins, Courage croissants, Heartprint cookies. By bedtime, Alex planned to reserve funds for loft rent. With flexible hours, mornings were code and evenings were dough. Emily invited Alex to her father's Red Hook garage. Former rock drummer, now mechanic, he hammered a sheet of brass into a bakery bell. Sparks flew, and Alex saw their future, bright, resonant. Meanwhile, a wave of online hate attacked their dream bakery, another artsy émigré crowding real businesses. Emily cried into her apron. Alex launched a live stream, Recipes of Courage. He needed dough on camera, telling Grandma's stories. Support flooded in, drowning out the haters. They applied for the Small Business Recovery Grant. Alex juggled spreadsheets, Emily wrote social mission goals. When she clicked submit at 1:14 a.m., the garage bell rang 3 times, Destiny's approval. A confirmation email followed, "Your application is under review." On a sweltering August evening, the grid failed at 7:14 p.m. Bluebird's gas burners stayed lit. Emily bit a flashlight in her teeth, "Preheat the oven." Together in darkness, they mixed a dough of cocoa, maple syrup, and sea salt. Blackout cookies were born. Alex powered his laptop from a battery bank and streamed, "When darkness falls, light up your heart." Neighbors gathered, someone strummed guitar, others held bike headlights as makeshift lamps. They handed out warm cookies, fueling joy in the night. By 2:30 a.m., the lights returned, but the crowd stayed. News crews interviewed them. Emily said, "Darkness just helps you taste the light." That morning the video hit 500,000 views, and city officials invited them to present their story at the grant interview next Thursday. Early September dawn brought good news, $60,000 grant approved. But the same day, Alex's boss offered a year-long contract in San Francisco with double pay. That night in their unfinished loft, rain hammered the windows as they weighed options, rent, salaries, mortgages versus rent-controlled apartments, recipes, and a future together. At 3:47 a.m., Alex drafted his refusal email. He looked at Emily sleeping atop parchment copies of recipes and clicked send. Sunrise found them holding hands amid ladders and paint buckets. The brass bell chimed behind them, as if cheering their commitment. October arrived with the scent of mortar and temporary heaters. The loft on Brooklyn Heights had transformed, friends painted walls vanilla cream, electricians hid wires behind paneling, and the brass bell hung above the doorway. Emily sprinkled cinnamon into the oven flame, for luck, filling the air with autumn warmth. A graffiti artist friend painted the bakery logo, a heartbird, on the feature wall. In the hush, Alex knelt before Emily, a brass ring in hand forged from bell fragments. "Will you bake this life with me forever?" he asked. She said yes. 3 times the bell rang, and friends cheered with cider in paint cups. They tested menu items, maple turnovers, bluebird scones, and blackout cookies. Neighbors smelled the aromas and camped outside overnight. 2 days before opening, the oven door cracked in a heart shape. Alex framed the glass shard, every crack tells a story. Day -1 began at 5 a.m. Edison bulbs were tightened, last tables polished, and drummer dad sound-checked on a cajon for opening fanfare. On the roof at dawn, they exchanged a brass heart shard in a velvet box. Below, 2 people queued ahead of time, one holding a thermos, another sunflowers. Alex captured it. Our line starts with sunshine. They descended, fired up the ovens, and at 7:45 a.m. the bell chimed thrice as balloons shaped like birds, each marked with one of Alex's words: whisk, zest, cherish, invite, trust, courage, hope, floated above them. At 8 a.m., the opening bell rang. The queue snaked half a block. Emily handed every first customer a blackout cookie, while Alex crafted latte art birds. A saxophonist played La Vie en Rose, courtesy of drummer dad. A reporter asked, "Your secret?" They answered in unison, yeast for dreams and a spoonful of support. By noon, local cooking school kids toured the dough room, sprinkling zest and learning to whisk away fear. The neon sign dimmed to a soft glow, and Baker's father signed records with "Flower and Jazz Show Up at 8." As sunset painted the East River pink, they closed with the final batch of bluebird scones. The spreadsheet showed numbers dancing like sax notes. A grant extension message arrived, 15% more for social impact. They laughed, ambitions outgrow even the grandest plans. On the chalkboard beside the counter, in chalk, "Love is our main ingredient, thank you for tasting it with us." The bell would ring again tomorrow, inviting new hearts to imprint theirs on dough, because this story never truly ends, only rises anew.